All right, if you're getting serious about buying a home, you are absolutely going to run into this document. It's called the Exclusive Buyer Agency Agreement, and it's the thing that makes your relationship with a real estate agent official. But what are you actually signing? Let's dive in and demystify this thing piece by piece.
So, picture this. It's an exciting time, right? You've found an agent you really click with, you're pumped to start looking at houses, and then boom, they hand you a legal contract to sign. It can feel a little intense, but it doesn't have to be. Honestly, try to think of this less as a scary legal hurdle and more as the solid foundation for a great partnership. And the very first step is just understanding what's inside.
Okay, so let's start at square one. The absolute basics. What is this contract even for? What's its main purpose? At its heart, it's basically a job contract. Simple as that. You are officially hiring a real estate brokerage to work for you, to be your dedicated representative. Now, that word exclusive is the key here, and we're going to unpack exactly what that means in just a second. But for now, just know this isn't some casual handshake deal. It's a formal commitment. So what does exclusive really mean for you? Well, it's kind of like you're agreeing to go monogamous with your real estate agent for a little while. It means if you're driving around and see an open house sign or you spot a for sale by owner that looks interesting, your agreement says you call your agent, not the one on the sign. It's all about creating one single clear path for communication and negotiation. It keeps things from getting messy.
Of course, this isn't a one-way street. In exchange for you committing to them, the agent makes some really important promises back to you. So let's look at their side of the bargain.
This right here is the value you're getting. The contract legally binds your agent to work in your best interest. They become your champion, your advocate. They're supposed to be fighting to get you the best possible deal, keeping your financial details totally private, and basically holding your hand all the way to closing. This is what's called their fiduciary duty. It's a fancy term, but it just means they have a legal obligation to put your financial interests first, period.
So we've seen what the agent promises to do for you. Now let's flip the script and talk about what the agreement says are your responsibilities in this partnership. The bottom line here is that this is a team effort. You're agreeing to be open and honest with your agent about your financial situation and, to actually be available to go see some houses. It also makes it clear that you're the one who pays for things like home inspections. Really, these rules just help the whole process run smoothly. Your agent can't find you the perfect home if they don't have the full picture, right? So that transparency is key. All right, let's talk about the big one, the part that causes the most confusion and, let's be honest, the most anxiety: agent compensation. How in the world does your agent actually make their money? Okay, before we get into the mechanics, I want you to just soak in this quote. This is pulled directly from the agreement, and it is probably the single most important sentence to remember. The fee is not set in stone. It says right there, it is fully negotiable between you and the brokerage. Just knowing this gives you so much power to have a real, open conversation about it before you sign anything. So, how does the payment actually work? Well, traditionally, the agent's first stop for payment is the seller's side of the deal. They look to see what commission the seller is offering. But, and this is super important, the contract specifies that if the seller is offering less than the fee you agreed to in your contract, you might be on the hook to pay the difference. And in the rare case that a seller offers nothing, then you would have to pay the full amount. So what kind of number are we talking about here? Well, in the sample agreement we're using for this explainer, the professional service fee is listed as 3.5% of the purchase price. But again, remember what we just saw in the last slide. This number is just a starting point for your negotiation.
Okay, we've covered the big pillars of the agreement: exclusivity, what everyone promises to do, and how people get paid. Now, let's zoom in on a few other key clauses you'll find tucked away in the fine print.
First up is the protection period clause. What is that? Well, essentially it says that if your agreement expires and then a week later you turn around and buy a house your agent already showed you, they are still owed their commission. It's really just designed to protect the agent from doing all the legwork only to get cut out of the deal at the very last minute. This is a fantastic question, and one that comes up more than you'd think. What happens if you fall in love with a house and it just so happens that your own agent is the one listing it for sale? Can they represent both of you at the same time? The short answer is yes, they can, and it has a name. It's called dual agency. But, and this is a really big but, it can only happen if you give your written consent. The agreement will literally have a checkbox where you have to decide if you're okay with that or not. You can see how it might be a conflict of interest, right? The agent is supposed to get the highest price for the seller and the lowest price for you at the same time. The choice to allow that is completely up to you. And finally, just in case you weren't sure how seriously to take this whole thing, the contract itself tells you
This warning is printed right there on the document, usually in all caps. This isn't just some casual paperwork, it is a legally binding contract. They are literally telling you if you don't get it, go talk to a lawyer.
So look, the goal of this agreement isn't to trap you, it's to create clarity and set expectations for everyone involved. By understanding these key parts, the exclusivity, the obligations, the payment, and the fine print, you're not just blindly signing a form, you're entering a professional partnership with your eyes wide open, totally ready to find an agent who's the perfect fit for you.